Hello, welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to clean your data using Microsoft Excel. Data cleaning is one of the important things you need to know as a data analyst, because if you don't clean your data correctly, you're going to have a wrong analysis. You know the consequences of having a wrong analysis as a data analyst, right? The consequences of that, and you don't want such a thing to happen, right? We are going to clean your data and end up having a wrong analysis. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to clean your data using Microsoft Excel. So this is a sample data, right? This is a sample data. I'm going to show you how to clean that. This is a sample data. So I'm going to walk you through on how to do that. So this is our data set, right? So you see, right, what we have here. So it's not well fitting, the text doesn't fit into the column very well. So we have this. So we are going to work on that right now. So the first thing we need to do, we need to adjust each column and adjust each row. So for you to do that, you need to bring your cursor here, click on it. After you click on it, you double click here, right? Bring your cursor here and double click. Once you do that, you bring your cursor also here and double click here, right, to adjust the rows and to also adjust the columns. So we have done that. We have adjusted the rows. We have also adjusted the columns. So what are we going to do next? So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to separate. If we check the retailer's ID here, right? He has the retailer's name and their ID number, right? So you want to separate the retailer's name from the ID number. So how can you do that? So you click on column C, you right click and you click on insert, right? You click on insert. So once you click on insert, you are going to use a feature known as flash field, right? You're going to use the flash field feature. So how can you do that? So you type the first number, right? So you want to extract the retailer's ID number, not the retailer's name, the retailer's ID number. You are going to type the ID number, the first one. Right, so we add that. So you hit on enter. So once you hit on enter, you can bring your cursor here and double click to have it there, right? Alternatively, you come here, right? You come to the data tab, right? And you come to where you have flash field, right? You come here, flash field. This flash field, click on it to autofill it, right? To autofill it. So let's adjust the column. So let's give it a name, ID, right? ID. So let's give it a name, ID, retailer. So let's say ID, right? ID. Hit on enter. So then the next thing you want to extract the retailer's name. So same procedure. We insert and we type in the retailer's name, Footlocker, right? Footlocker. Same thing. We click on this to fill it, right? Done that. And let's give it the name retailer, right? Retailer for that. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, so since we have separated the retailer's ID and the retailer's name into different columns, we are going to delete this rule because this column, because we don't need it. All right. We no longer need it. So right click and delete. So we have that there, right? We have this here. So if we check in column A, we have redundant information or redundant column. So what this means is that the column are not going to be the column we are not going to be making use of is known as redundant column or redundant information. So you don't want the serial number, right? So you click on it and you hit on delete. So we have that there. So you're making progress, right? So the next thing you want to do, you want to standardize this data, right? You want to standardize this data. If you check this footlocker here, the initials are in smaller letter. If you check rule 16, the initials are in capital letter, right? The initials are in capital letter. So what are we going to do now? We're going to do is create a new column, right? Create, say insert, right? We are going to use a feature in Excel known as proper, right? So this is proper, it's equal, proper. So what this function means is that Excel is going to capitalize the first letter of each word in capital letter and the rest is going to be in smaller letter, right? So that's what the proper function does. So the upper is going to make everything to be in capital letter for the upper and the lower, everything is going to be in smaller letter, like in lower case. So we on the text, as a text, we close our bracket and we turn enter. So we're going to apply it down. We're going to apply it down. So we've done that. So we have the columns here and we have these columns here. So we can see we have a duplicate column. So we can't keep the both of them. We need to delete. So let's delete this one. We don't need it. So let's see what you're going to get. So we see we have this error sign here, right? So this error sign means that the column we were referencing has been deleted, right? The column we are referencing has been deleted. What are we going to do? We need to copy this and paste it as value. We need to copy this and paste it as value. Pasting as value means you are going to paste it without the formula. You're going to paste it without the formula. That word means pasting as a value means you are going to highlight everything. So you say copy, right? You come here and paste special. You say paste as value, the first one, right? Paste as value. We've done that. So if you check there's no formula, check there's no formula, you check here, we have the formula, right? So that's what paste as value does. So we delete this. We're making progress. So we see here now, you see here that this invoice date is not in a date format, right? Is a number format, in a value format or a number format, right? So we need to change it to a date format. So remember data type conversion. So we need to convert it to a date. So what are you going to do? You're going to highlight everything, right? Highlight everything to the end. So like I said, this is a sample data, right? The sample data, highlight everything to the end. And we come to the numbers in the home tab. You come to numbers, we click on this, and we say long date or short date. You can pick anyone. Let's go with the long date or go with the short date. So let's go with the long date. So we have that there. All right, so if you pay close attention, you're going to see that we have some duplicate values, right? 1st of January is appearing twice, and 28th of January is appearing twice. You want to check for duplicate value. So remember, all the rows must have the same value before your data can be called a duplicate value. So you can see here, these are duplicate values because they have the same values. So if you check 28, you have the same value across the columns, right? So this is a duplicate value. We are going to delete that. But before you do that, we need to do it professionally. So we are going to highlight this, right? The invoice date before we can delete that. And we're going to highlight this invoice date. Highlight the invoice date. So once you do that, still in the home tab, conditional formatting, right? You say duplicate values, right? Highlight cell rules, you say duplicate values. You say okay. So you can pick any color here, right? Play around with it and pick any color. Hit on okay. So we have duplicate values here, right? We have duplicate values here. So we need to delete it, right? So let's delete it now. So we go to the data tab. So you click on duplicate values, right? Remove duplicate, click on it. So now we have this error warning us that we need to extend it. So let's extend that. So let's extend everything. Let's extend it to the end and go back. All right, so we're asking us where do we want to remove our duplicate values. So we say the retailer, the invoice dates, right? The invoice dates. We want to remove our duplicate values in the invoice dates because that's where we have duplicate values for the invoice dates. And we click on OK. You can see here, 4 duplicate values found are removed. So we have 16 unique values, right? So we have 16 values that are not duplicates. So we've done that. All right. So the next thing you're going to do now, we are going to check for cells that contains blank values, the column that contains blank values, right? Column that contain missing values. That's what we are going to do. So we go back again. We highlight everything, right? Highlight everything. Highlight everything. Come here. All right. So still in the Home tab, you go to the Home tab, right? Under the Home tab, you come to the Editing Tools. You click on this icon that looks like a microscope. So for your information, I am using Excel 365, right? I'm using Excel 365. You click on it. So click on Go Special. Go to Special. We want to check for missing values, blank cells, right? You click on it and you click on blank, right? You click on blank and hit on OK. No cells were found, right? No cells were found because we haven't turned it into a table. So let's turn it into a table, right? So you say Control T. So you create a table. My table has headers. You said yes. Hit on that. And let's work on this. So let's change this to this color. So you can click on it to change it to any color of your choice, right? To change it to any color of your choice. So let's maintain that color. And let's go back there again. So let's go back there again. Home tab. This, go to Special. We say blank and hit on OK. Okay, so Excel is selecting everything for us because we did not give Excel the particular places we want it to show us blank value. So we're going to select everything again. In Excel, you want to check for blank values here, right? Blank cells here, right? Don't include other cells or other rules. So check it only there. You click, you say go to Special, you say blanks, right? And hit on OK. So you can see here, we have 2 blanks here, right? One for the product and one for the unit sold. So remember that for the product, you can put something like unspecified or you can put something like unknown, right? Because you don't know the product name and you cannot just guess or cannot just assume. So you're going to put unspecified there, right? Unspecified. And for the unit sold, which contains numbers, numeric data, you're going to put 0, right? Because you cannot put text data under a column that contains numeric data and you cannot put a numeric data in a column that contains text data, right? So you're going to put the 0. So we've done that. We'll fill in the blank. We fill in the blank cells, also known as missing values, right? So the next thing we want to do, we want to standardize our data. So you can see here, New York, New York, New York. So the reason is that if you don't standardize your data, you're going to get a wrong analysis. So let me show you that. You're going to go to the Insert tab. It's a pivot table, new worksheet, right? So we have a new worksheet here. We're going to bring the city to rows, right? We have the New York, and we are going to bring the unit row to this. So let's quickly insert a chart. So you say insert charts, recommended charts, and we pick on this. Right? So if you don't clean your data, this is what you're going to get. If you don't clean your data, this is what you are going to get, which is absolutely wrong. So you don't need to get something like this in cleaning your data, right? So because NY also means New York, and NY also means New York, and this is also New York. So this is wrong. So let's go back to our data. So now we are going to standardize this. We're going to use a feature in Excel known as find and replaced. We're going to give Excel, tell Excel, find anywhere you see NY, look for it and replace it with New York. That's what we're going to do. So we come here under the search. You say replace, right? Now we tell Excel asking us find what? You say find NY, right? Find NY. Replace it with what? New York. Replace it with New York, and we say replace all. So we have that some replacement has been made for this. So we say close. So we're making progress. So we've done for this. Let's adjust our column so you can see clearly. All right, so the next thing is the product column, right? The next thing is the product column. So you can see all these icons, this ellipse icon, this human icon, people icon, is it a Batman icon, right? So we need to remove all those icons, right? Those are called non-printable items. We don't need it in our data. We don't need it in our data, so we need to take them off, right? We need to toss them away. So for us to do that, we are going to insert this, right? Click on it. Click on insert, right? So we are going to use a function in Excel known as clean. So what clean does is that it's going to remove all these non-printable items, right? All these non-printable characters. Excel is going to delete it. Just clean it up. You're going to tell Excel kindly clean everything out, right? So Excel is going to clean it. You're going to say equal. You spell the word clean, right? That is spelled clean, right? So where is your text? Our text is this, right? On this, and we turn close, right? We open this, so let's open it. So let's apply it down. So let's apply it down, right? So we have that. So now remember the first thing we did for the retailer. We're going to do the same thing here, right? We're going to do the same thing here also, right? So let's insert a column again, right? Let's insert a column. Okay, so let's undo that. So what's going on? Right, so let's expand it. All right, so let's insert a column here, right? Insert a column. And you want to trim all these spaces. So you don't want to see these spaces, right? You want to trim all these spaces. You'll be wondering, is it an alignment issue? So let's align it so I can take all the spaces. So let's try that and see if it has to do with alignments. Select everything, right? You say align to the left. So you see, right? You still have those spaces, right? You still have the spaces. Next thing we are going to do, we want to trim these spaces. So we are going to use a function known as trim, All right, so the trim function is going to use to trim all these spaces, to close all these spaces. That's what we are going to do. So we say equal trim, right? We say trim. We say trim. So we hit on this, all right? Hit on this, and you come to the formula bar. We close it with our parentheses, and we hit on enter, right? So we trim those spaces. So let's apply it down. And now let's align it to the left, right? So we have that there. We are going to bring it to this column, right? We are going to bring it to the product column, right? We're going to select everything here, select everything, right? You say copy, select everything here to paste it, right? Put everything here, right? You right click and you say paste as special. Paste as special. And we are going to delete this to right. You don't need it. You say get off, we don't need you. Right? So we adjust our column again. We have that there. Right? So we have left with the price units per price, unit sold. All right. So the next thing we are going to do is you're going to work on this column, right? Because you don't need the currency symbol. You don't need the currency symbol, right? Because if you load it to SQL, you load it to Power BI, you might have some Power Query, you might have some issues in your calculation. So we don't need this currency symbol. So we come to the Home tab, Number Tools. Either you go with General or you go with Number, or alternatively, you can come here, right? And you say numbers, right? Hold on, numbers, general, 1,000 characters, right? So 1,000 character. So we don't need decimal because unit sold doesn't have decimal, right? So you don't need decimal. We say no decimal, and we hit on OK, right? We hit on OK, right? So the next thing is there for us to align it to the right. So align it to the right. So that's how numbers are aligned to the right. And the next thing is the unit sold. We want to check for outliers, right? So outlier is something that is away normal, right? Something that is abnormal in your data is known as an outlier. So we are going to remove that now, right? We are going to remove that now. We are going to select everything. We're going to select everything here now, right? And we come to the Home tab. Under the Home tab, conditional formatting, highlight sales rules. We say greater than, right? So Excel has already noted that this 1 million naira is an outlier, right? 1 million units sold is an outlier, right? Is an outlier, right? We are going to hit on OK. So before you come to this, so this is price per unit. So we need decimal in price per unit. So I was thinking that is unit sold. So we need price per unit for decimal. We need decimal for price per unit. So we go back there again. And we say decimal places 2, right? 2 decimal places, right? And hit on OK. So that is sorted out. So this is an outlier, right? So what are you going to do here? So the thing you're going to do here is either you call your stakeholders to give you the data set, or you take it off, because 1 million units of men's apparel shoe cannot be sold under 24 hours on the 3rd of January, right? Nearly 1 month after Christmas, they cannot sell 1 million units of this product, right? In New York City, right? So we are going to delete that. So we delete it off because we cannot get the data for that and we cannot assume. Remember, you cannot assume, right? You cannot assume. So we are going to delete that out, right? We are going to delete it out, including the unit sold. So you know the total price, all right? So we know the unit sold. You know the price per unit, but we don't know the unit sold, right? You know the price per unit, but we don't know the unit sold. You are going to delete that out. So you say delete that. So you're going to format this. Remember unit sold. You're going to format it. So this is when we are going to say we don't need decimal, right? We don't need decimal. So home tab, more number formatting. All right, so you keep it here, right? 1,000 separator, right? You check this box 1,000 separator, right? You check this box 1,000 separator and you hit on. Okay, we have that. I will align it to the right, right? Align it to the right. And the next thing, you want to check for wrong spelling, right? You want to check for typo. Want to check for wrong spelling in our data. How can you do that? So we are going to highlight everything in our table. Highlight everything in our table. Highlight everything in our table. And you come to the review tab, right? And you click on spelling. Now, so mine is in United Kingdom because I stay in Nigeria. So if you stay outside Nigeria, you can as well pick either UAE English or United States of America or any language of your choice. So I prefer the UK, right? So we have suggestions here, right? So this is the correct one, outlets. So before you do this, first of all, you must understand your data very, very well. You must understand your data. So for this, our data, the correct one is outlets. This is the correct one. And we say change all, right? Change everything, right? Anywhere you see outlet changes to outlets. Say change all to outlets and hit on OK, right? And hit on OK. And we're going to align it to this time around. You go to the home tab. We align it to the left, right? Align it to the left. So let's align all the texts to the left quickly. Right to the left. Everything to the left. Right numbers. This to this, and let's change this to 11, right? So let's align this again to the left. Sorry, to the right. So we have that, right? We have that. Okay, so the next thing for us to do, we want to know the total value, the total sales of each product. We want to know the total sales. So this way we bring in our skill, our mathematical skill, right? So you click on the sales method and click on insert, right? So now you want to know how much the company made in total sales for each day, right? So we say equal, right? Remember in Excel, everything starts with an equal sign. So you say equal sum. So sorry, now you're not going to use sum, you're going to use multiplication because we want to multiply, right? So we are going to call out the name of the cell. You say H2, right? H2 asterisk I2, right? I'll hit on enter. So we have it there, right? We have 60,000. So it's in the formula bar, H2 asterisk I2. So you are saying H2 times I2 is going to give us this, right? So we apply it, we fill it down, right? We fill it down. So you don't want the formula bar to be here, the formula to be in the formula bar. So we are going to insert a new column, right? And we are going to copy it. So highlight everything. You say copy, right? You say paste as values. Paste as values, right? Paste as values, and we are going to delete this. We're going to delete this off. And I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to say total sales, right? Total. So now we are making it to be in one word. Total sales to be in one word with an underscore in between it, because if you are loading it into MySQL, you're going to have an issue with that. So make it to be in one word. So let's change this also to be in one word. All right, it's a sales method. Unit sold, right? And we change this to, we are going to, so let me quickly change that. I pause the video and change. Okay, so we've done that. So we've changed all the column names to smaller letters, right? We've done that. So everything is set. Everything is set. Now we want to freeze the top pan. We want to freeze the top pan. So when you are scrolling down, right? So when you are scrolling down, you can still see the title, the column headers, right? So you're going to freeze the top pan. You're going to freeze it, right? So select everything. You come to the data tab, right? Sorry, not data tab, insert tab, insert tab. So let's look for the freeze pan. The freeze pan is not here. Let's go to the view tab. So we got it here in the view tab, right? We want to freeze the top pan. So let's select it again, right? Top pan. So your view tab, you click. So we have three options here. So you want to freeze the top row, right? The top row. That's you want to freeze the top row, right? Want to freeze the top row. So you click on freeze. We've done that. So even if you scroll down like this, right, you can still see, right? You can still see that there. All right, you can still see everything. So that's how to clean your data in Microsoft Excel. So if you have any question, you can as well drop it in the comment section and I will attend to your question as soon as possible. Thank you. See you in the next video.